Greetings friends, and welcome to another tutorial of mine on building scenery through SDK. I hope today finds you all Oscar Kilo. I am going to show you how to liven up your lonely general aviation airports by using static aircraft available to me in my community and official folder. Many of the processes I use today will be repetitive to my other tutorials in terms of steps to complete the scenery. I never know when a person is going to zone in on one of my videos, what their knowledge level is, and where they may be in building packages. I will go through step by step, not leaving a step out. So if this is the first time you've come to one of my SDK tutorial videos, you will have a basic understanding of what is necessary. If you've never built a scenery folder or built a scenery package, I do recommend you go look at one of my early tutorials or a tutorial by someone else. My tutorials has two different methods. One of my videos shows how to build a scenery folder and package through the SDK tool. That video is labeled 1 MSFS Scenery. The second scenery folder and package building process I use is outside of SDK. The number of that video is 1 Bravo. I do recommend building packages outside of SDK, so check out both videos or go to the 1 Bravo, which is my recommended way. However, it's up to you. It is always a good thing to have a working folder where you keep your scenery projects. For the tutorials I make, I have a scenery folder on my desktop with the tools I need in the scenery folder. Inside of this folder, I have a folder to keep my completed scenery files. I recommend that you hang on to your files after that you have built packages in the event you ever want to go back and make changes. I will be doing a tutorial video shortly on how to update and change your built packages. I recommend having a template folder handy to reuse. And having a template folder handy is exactly what I walked through in my 1 beta scenery tutorial. I also have the earth to MSFS, which I will not be using in this video. And last, I have my thumbnail. The thumbnail has to be 412 by 170 pixels. The size is mandatory for your SDK packages. I will start out by making a copy of my template folder, rename it, and this will be my working folder for today's tutorial. So I want to tick on it, copy, paste, and give it a name. I gave my working folder a unique name, starting with my company name, Patriot6, -KMQY, that is the airport in which I will be doing my scenery work, and then -scenery. So let's begin. First, I'm going to Options, General Options, Developers, On, Apply and Save. And now I will zone in on my airport. This is a large general aviation airport about 4 miles from my home. The airport is KMQY, that's Kilo Mike Quebec Yankee. Once you find your parking location, fly. Once I have ticked fly and I'm ready to go, I will go up to my developer menu, tick on camera, developer camera. Next on my developer menu, I will go to tools, project editor, tick. The project editor and the inspector comes up. If the inspector does not come up, you can hit view and tick on inspector. I'm going to tick project, open project. I am going to navigate to the scenery folder on my desktop. There is the scenery folder. Open. You can see the files that are in here, the completed scenery files, the template. Here is the folder I'm looking for, Kilo Mike Quebec Yankee Scenery. Open. Go down to the bottom XML document, highlight, and open. This is an important step. I am going to tick on my company, Scenery Simple. And now I can fill in the information into the inspector. The information that I place in the inspector can be seen in your content manager. Without pressing tab or enter, I'm going to tick down on my company. And now I'm going to the placeholder and grab my thumbnail. This will take you back to the original folder where you opened the XML, so I will go up one level. There's my thumbnail. I'm going to open and build the package. When the dialog box pops up saying modifications detected, I will tick yes. The initial package is now built. I will go up to my developer menu again. I will tick Window, Console, and now the console's out of the way. And now I will tick on my company, Scenery Simple, in the project editor, revealing my scene BGL and model lib. Tick on my scene. On the inspector, load in editor. Remove the material editor, it will not be needed today, and wait on your scenery to populate. The scenery is now populated. It may take several seconds to load all of your scenery library. This airport has two sections. The section which I'm in right now is for GA aircraft. There is a section to my left that is a Tennessee National Guard. I will first work on the Tennessee National Guard area by moving to the location. Prior to starting this video, I looked through my available scenery, looking for items that I can use in this scenery build. I made notes of the items that I will use to save time on this tutorial video. In full disclosure, I have not served in any military branch. For those of you that know more than me, you may see me use inaccurate objects. Understand that I'm doing this from my imagination and not necessarily from my military knowledge. On your Objects folder, you want to tick All, and that allows you to have access to all of the scenery in your community and official folder. I will first add in some military helicopters. If this is the first time you're pulling an object up, it may take a few seconds for the object to spawn in. I know the name I'm looking for is Heli-Hawk, so I will type that in. And there you see the options I have available to me, two different styles. I will grab one and tick Add. The object is there, so I want to orientate the object. Make sure the gizmo is up. You can get to the gizmo by going to your scenery editor, view, and tick gizmo. In the gizmo, I'm currently in transmute state. That allows me to move the helicopter wherever I want. I don't particularly like the angle of the helicopter here. I will go over to the gizmo, tick rotate, and the axis pops up. I want to grab the green axis and spin the copter around. Satisfied with that orientation, I'm going back to transmute. Now I will go down to my scenery editor and use the duplicate button to duplicate several versions of this copter in this present orientation. There are two color versions of the Heli-Hawk, so I will add a few of the second version. Again, move on transmute and orientate on rotate. With an orientation I like, once again, I'm going to duplicate and add a few more of the helicopters. I'm going to add a few military aircraft, C-5. Add. I do understand this aircraft is used by the U.S. Air Force. But again, I'm just doing this out of my imagination, and accuracy is not my prime goal here. Again, I want to go to the gizmo and rotate. Back to transmute and adjust. I'm going to duplicate on the scenery editor. And if I want to, I can add a few more out a little farther on the tarmac. Again, duplicate. Again, duplicate to reuse this orientation. And if you want to get fancy, you can add a few more in a different orientation. I will do that. Now I'm going to add other military equipment which may be seen here. I'm going to type in military truck. It's already popped up. So we have several choices. I will go with Bach Camo. With transmute, I'm going to move into position. Again, on the gizmo, I'm going to rotate. Back to transmute, and I'm going to duplicate several of these. I'm going to place some ancillary military equipment. I will go with containers. I did find military barrels in my scenery, so I will add barrels. On my objects menu, I'm going to move to one-click placing to allow me to place this object quickly. I also noticed a military shelter, so I will add a few shelters. Of course, we need a military tug. I will make a few duplicates. This looks like a great spot for military fuel tankers. The orientation is not bad. I am going to look and see if there is a front and back. I'm guessing this is the front, so I will reorientate. I'm going to add more for effect. Again, on the scenery editor, duplicate. I am now going to move over to the general aviation part of the airport and add some static general aviation aircraft. By the way, while this is on my mind, I want to point out SDK updates in the top right hand portion of your window. If you ever notice this SDK update is yellow, it means there is an SDK update that you can download. This airport is full of general aviation aircraft, but I don't want to go too far and take up all the taxi space. I'm going to add a couple of citation longitudes. I'm going to add a Piper. And now on my objects menu, I am going to change from scenery to sim objects. You will notice in scenery objects there are many liveries. It's up to you what you choose to add to your airport. I'm going to add a couple of TBMs. Takes it a second to zone in. I'm going to add a Baron. I am still on sim objects. What is a general aviation airport without a few Cessna 152s? Still in sim objects, I will enter 152. For now, I am satisfied with this. Over here, I have parking spaces available, and out in this area, so I will always have room for my aircraft should I want to take off from KMQY. I'm going to make this a little more interesting. I did see trees over here that I'm going to remove. To remove the trees, I'm going up to my objects menu. I am going to change from sim object to polygon. I will tick add, and with my left control key down the entire time, I will use my left mouse button to draw the polygon. Once a polygon is complete, I'm going to double click to close. And the polygon is complete. On my scenery editor, drop down to View, Properties, Vegetation, move the slider to the left, and now the trees are gone. I can exit out of my Properties window. Over here are a few locations where the trees do not look very well. For whatever reason, the AI is not picking up these trees, so I'm going to show you how to solve that. We are still on polygon, so I'm going to make another polygon using the same process I used before. Double click to close a polygon, back to the scenery editor, View, Properties, Vegetation, and now you can scale the vegetation height and density to whatever you like. So I'll make them tall and thick. Exit out of Properties. I see another location here, but I'm not going to change that. I just wanted to give you an idea of how it works. If you decide you want to add more objects after building polygons, you will need to go back up to your objects menu and change from polygon back to scenery. At this time, I'm not going to add any more objects. I'm satisfied with what I have. I'm going to save my scenery. Down on my scenery editor, I want to save scenery. I want to navigate to my folder, which is Patriot 6 KMQY Scenery. Open. I'm going to Package Sources. I'm going to Scene. And this is a scenery file, so I'm just going to type in a one-word name, KMQY Scenery. Save. I'm going to build the package. This part is very important, and this is where some people have problems. If you will notice, there's nothing in my inspector, and that is because in my project editor, I'm in my scene. I want to move from my scene back up to my company's simple scenery, and I want to tick it. And now the inspector is populated. I'm going to tick Build Package. Once a package is built, I will navigate back to my developer menu window and remove the console. At this step, everything is saved, the package is built, I can exit out of my tools. I will bring up my community folder and I will bring up my working scenery folder. I will go to the scenery folder, KMQY scenery, and open. I will move down to packages. And here is my package, my company scenery simple. I will copy and paste into the community folder. With it in the community folder, I'm going to rename this package utilizing the same name of the scenery folder. Now I will move my scenery folder into my completed scenery folder files. I will exit out of this folder. With the scenery built, saved, moved to the community folder, I will exit out of the sim, restart, and allow my package to load into the sim. With the simulator reloaded, normally at this time I would exit out of my developer menu. However, I'm going to stay in developers mode, so I will have access to the developer camera, which I am much better at moving around than the drone camera. I want to go to my location, Kilo Mike Quebec Yankee. I am going to open the developer camera and move around and look at my objects. There are the GA aircraft. I should have realized this. At this particular airport, there are fuel tanks here, and the fuel truck tends to hang out here, but that's not going to be a big deal for a tutorial. Now I'm going to look at the National Guard side. There are my U.S. Air Force planes. You will notice that the trees are gone, that I excluded with the polygon. There are the military trucks I placed, the military containers, and the military barrels and shelters. Over here you have our military fuel and the military tugs. This is the location where I added trees, and as you can see, it looks good. And this is the location where I did not add trees, so you can see the difference between the two. And this project is complete. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to leave your comments in the comment section. I will get back to your comment eventually. Most of all, thank you for watching Patriot 6.